Speaking of trafficking cocaine,
Mm-hmm.
a lot. That is a part of American history, part of the lost history, as friend of the show Robert Perry calls it. And this, the CIA, in case people are unaware, was involved, may still be involved in drug smuggling. At a minimum, knew about it and tolerated smuggling of significant amounts of cocaine into the United States to pay for a counter-revolution in Nicaragua.
Allegedly, but they did that shit. But
well,
allegedly.
yeah, that we know for a fact that they've admitted that they were at least aware that cocaine was coming out.
If one was to look at the history of the CIA without knowing anything else about them, you might think their primary tactic was being a drug smuggling operation, considering the LSD in the 70s and the Chinese opium before that, and then this whole Iran Contra stuff. It's a lot of what they do.
Yeah.
Right, it seems like they kind of handled the drugs, and then the FBI inspect female bodies, and those are the two.
That's what I know about
we
them.
have.
Yeah. There's one that, kills black radicals and puts drugs into the community, and then there's the people who inspect the female body.
They just check them out, make sure they're okay.
Yeah, when they take their sunglasses down, they go, inspected.
Oh my.
Well.
Well, one, what I believe to be, if possibly not, a female body. I saw Bryn interacting with on Twitter the other day, sort of a CIA
Yes.
interrogator, or what was her deal?
She claimed to be a CIA analyst for approximately 12 years and then left. They always say left. They didn't quit. They didn't get fired. They didn't get laid off. They didn't.
They're on sabbatical from the CIA.
No, they just left. And then she has been writing books and sort of just thinking about China. It's not clear how what her current job is, but she.
What are they doing over there?
Yeah, what are they doing over there? What are they getting into?
I need to stop them from getting the fork.
Yeah, they're just Tom Waits like in the hallway listening to China's apartment. What is that banging? She was promoting a book called We Weren't Like This Before or something, just about crying over like military members who were like involved in like torture in black sites.
Right, the negative health effects of doing torture.
Yeah.
Which is not it is an interesting subject.
I mean, that's probably the only way we're going to get torture banned. It's like,
as if we know it makes you sad when you do it.
Yeah, because what we know about the U.S. government is that really care about the negative effects that things have on soldiers.
Right.
You see, the torturer is a consumer, and so there is a public board that should be looking out for their interests.
So to kind of bring it back, 1979, there is a dictator and a long line of dictators in Nicaragua from the Somoza family. And no, we're not talking with a Z, not the
not the delicious Indian. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all said it at the same time.
Yeah. We all know.
Right. And he's friendly with the U.S. He's friendly with Carter. And then in 79, at the end of the Carter regime, Somoza is overthrown by the Sandinista, the FSLN Liberation Front. They do a bunch of really cool stuff. One thing they do is they just show up to a government building, and they say, "Oh, we're part of the secret strike squad." And so the security is like, "Oh, okay, you're with us then? Okay, go ahead in."
Good.
Yeah, and then they just take over the whole building. They hold people hostage, and eventually, and this is throughout like the late 70s, but in 79 they topple the Somoza government.
It's a strong Marxist tactic to show up to key buildings and just say you're the president's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this guy actually. We me and Tachito, we go back way. We go back way.
Someone needs to do entryism into the Secret Service.
Yeah, we got to change it from the inside.
Yeah. So the U.S. is not happy. Carter is maybe a little more friendly to the FSLN, but then in 1980, Carter loses, and the way he loses is actually pretty important because 1980, Ronnie Reagan defeats Jimmy Carter. Yes, Carter is a poor manager of the economy. He induces a recession because he's worried about inflation. So that certainly does not help. But really the decisive way that Ronald Reagan wins is because of the hostage crisis. Because over in Iran, there's been, upheaval.
In Iran?
Yeah, it's all eyes are on Iran. There's an upheaval. There's American students over there, or American embassy workers or whatever. And they're held hostage throughout the 1980 election. Then, lo and behold, once Ronald Reagan is elected for saying, look how bad Jimmy Carter is at handling things foreign and domestic.
My fellow Americans, what are those? God damn. Looks like the clown Congress came to town and they took over the real Congress.
Direct quotes.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
But another direct quote is that Reagan, from after his presidency, said that they tried things the other way, meaning that they used some negotiation when they were out of power with the Iranians directly, which helped them win the election. So as he's being inaugurated, the hostages, all of a sudden, lo and behold, are freed. And then we find out later, Vice President H.W. Bush Papa is meeting with the Iranians and plotting this thing and saying, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Let these keep these hostages in captivity until Carter is out. And then, as a result, we'll cut you a deal. We'll sell you some weapons, right?
So almost like a not made up Russiagate.
Yeah.
Conspiracy with a foreign government to win an election.
Exactly. And this is something that gets totally glossed over. People are called cranks for bringing it up. As I mentioned earlier, Robert Perry, who, full disclosure, he's now passed away, but he was a family friend of...
Oh, you knew him?
Yes.
Flex.
I used to... Yeah, this is a huge flex. Probably my best flex. I used to go over to Robert Perry's house for Halloween in the 90s.
Oh my god, I wish I was you.
It was a lot of fun. He'd always have a crazy Halloween costume. One year was Nixon, one year was Bob Dole. And I was, small
A lot
child.
of Halloween costumes you can get away with just by wearing a suit.
Yeah.
That
True.
guy.
He did do...
It's Halloween, I'm wearing my suit.
He did really go all out on these costumes, though. I remember for Bob Dole, he had, streaks in his... He had, gray streaks, and I think he wore a mask with the
He
gray
had to
streaks.
shave his famous mustache.
Yes, he shaved the mustache, or I think he put on a mask for Bob Dole, but he had this thing that...
Did he do the cornerstone of the Bob Dole impression, which is saying, I'm Bob Dole, I'm Bob Dole?
Bob Dole. Bob Dole is on Halloween. Bob Dole's handing out trick-or-treat candy. That's what he said. But he had a sign that said, the most optimistic man in America, and then underneath that it said, the end is near. Dole Kemp 96.
Oh!
It's pretty funny.
Harsh burn.
Yeah. It's weird because he and my dad was a roommate of, I think, his for a little bit, and his wife, and they both have the same mustache. Throughout the 90s, they're like a blonde and brunette version of each other.
Mustache bros.
Yeah.
Mustache Bros.
Yeah, so he writes this book in the early 90s called October Surprise, and it gets panned as this guy's crazy, he's Cucamonga. Of course, we can't disprove anything he's saying, but he's out to lunch.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at his mustache. He dresses
Just
up like
Crash
Bob Dole.
Bandicoot all the time.
But that's as we're wont to do with anyone who actually takes an interesting or takes a deep dive into what the deep state tends to do. Same with Gary Webb.
Yeah.
Same with who's that guy who recently did it? Cy Hirsch.
Right.
Yeah, when you're a journalist and you do journalism to the deep state, it does put you in this awkward position where you're both doing power on each other, but they have guns and money and stuff, and you're just some
Yeah.
schmuck.
They're the state, and you're just a writer.
Yeah.